back. I'm Kim and she's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec. And we're both very pleased at the moment because we've decided that we're going to throw out a challenge to you all. So it means we don't have to do anything much while we're talking about it. What we want you to think about, what we want you to try, what we want you to do, and what we want you to tell us about is this challenge. We want you for 10 days to stay positive about everything. And I know that that can be a challenge. Our lives are not full of positives. We do have things that challenge us, and we do have things that happen to us that would be, on first impressions, negative. But what we are challenging you to do is, despite all of those things, despite everything that gets thrown at you, that for 10 days, and you can choose your start and your finish date, but for 10 days continuously, we want you to try and stay positive. Keep a diary, keep a journal, keep a record, keep some points, keep the highs and lows, but let's take on this challenge and have a look at how you felt at the beginning of the challenge and how you feel at the end of it, and identify the things that throw you off course, that make you feel less than positive, and how long does that last, and what do you do to get over those sorts of things. So that's the sort of stuff that we're looking to get out of this 10-day challenge. And what we will do is we'll look at all of the things that people share with us, and we'll summarise those. So we won't identify you. We won't say, oh, but so-and-so, look at that. You know, what did they do? But we will look at where there's similarities, where there's differences, where people have come up with innovative ways of dealing with the challenges that they've had to face to remain positive or to stay positive for that 10-day period. And 10 days is a long time, I know, but 10 days is also a transformational time. So that's why we're talking about it being 10 days. 10 days to stay positive, and let us hear what challenges you've had in that period of time. And we'll do it too.
Yeah. Now, it is a challenge, but it's
she'll want reward at the end of it, I know.
No, to me, it depends on the person. To me, this one is easier than going without alcohol for a month, for example. So that's a challenge. Or for no sugar. My friends had no
shopping,
sugar.
No shopping.
Or no shopping, or whatever.
No restaurant meals for 10 days.
This is for your brains. This is for your well-being in that sense, rather than just, when you make all these other commitments about eating better, no drinking, no smoking, etc., etc. So this is a good challenge, and it's okay to come across, for example, you start doing this challenge and you'll find first day, I'm there, I'm signed up, and then you walk out to your bus and your bus doesn't turn up. Okay, that's not very positive, but what do you make of it? How do you make it positive, or how do you live with it without focusing on the negative?
Yes.
So it's not turning reality into a fairy tale. It's more about how you manage it.
It is very much about how you manage it. Then we will hear about how others manage it and what a struggle it is. I wanted to go back to some things that Fulyana said. You challenge yourself in all sorts of other ways that are easier to measure. So you will do the things of, I'm not going to eat sugar for 10 days, or I'm not going to have coffee, or I'm not going to have a drink, or whatever else it is. You'll do those, and you'll feel that you can measure that. You know that the time is coming to an end and you're only measuring one thing. This staying positive is very nebulous. It's very hard to put a measure on it, to say what is positive or what is just coping with a negative situation. That is a challenge, and that is part of the challenge, is to work out for you what is positive in any situation. So you can take, from a negative situation, you can take some positives. So I had a particularly difficult weekend, this past weekend, with some management issues with an organisation, and I could, and I did initially, focus on all of the things that aggravated me, that frustrated me, that were all of the negative emotions. But if I put it at arm's length and I think about it in different terms, so if I think about it, not thinking about it on a personal interaction level, but thinking about it in a role of being a consultant, then there were some positives that came out of it. I learned a lot about what some people are like in certain situations. And so now I am armed with that experience and that knowledge, and I can approach the next time that I have interaction with them a different way. So that's a positive that's come out of that. If I write down on my little sheet what were the frustrations for the weekend, what were the things that I learnt or the things that came out of it, I think that my list on the right-hand side of the things that were positive or the things that came out of the weekend is far longer, because I'm focused on using those to move forward. I'm not focused on revisiting the wound, opening up the wound, picking at the wound and living in the wound because it's safer there than moving forward or challenging myself to take on these things that I've learned and make it work for the organisation. So that's the sort of stuff we're looking for.
No matter how bad the situation is, the minimum positive is that you learned from that experience. You had that experience and you gave yourself permission to be in the driver's seat and turn it into whatever you want to turn it into.
Yeah. I know that this is going to be a big challenge for some of you, and can I also share with you something very personal that illustrates how this can work for you. My mother passed away not suddenly, but whenever it happens, it is a wrench, as you would understand. And I was devastated, and I was really struggling to come to terms with it. I got a phone call from a friend who I hadn't seen for a long time, probably 7 or 8 years. And she made the effort to actually call rather than she had sent a message, and she'd done all of the other electronic communication things and sent a card and all of that. But she called, and the phone call, just the fact that she called and she was upset, and I felt that I needed, what I wanted in that moment was the interaction with her. And out of that phone call came a hugely positive experience of having reconnected with her. And so out of that activity, which was very negative, and I could have stayed in that negative space, I had on that day a positive that I could focus on. So there's nothing that we are challenged with that we can't find a positive from in some way. So don't be bogged down by the what-if scenarios, but just take each day as it comes, look at what's happening, and just challenge yourself to stay positive out of the situations that you're in. So there it is, that's the challenge. We'll have some details at the bottom of the post about how you can get in touch with us and send us in your summary of your 10 days, and then at some future date we'll do our spin on all of the results that we get. But for now, take up the challenge, 10 days to stay positive. I'm Kim Bailey, she's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec.